Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Second Acts is in full effect. My name is Andre Norman. This is a Securus original. We are on the set. We have a Baltimore native in the house. He claims to be a Ravens fan, but I am a Patriot winner. So that's a whole nother deal. The nation is here. Patriot Nation works.
Patriot Nation works, man. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so
But
much,
yeah,
Andre.
Second Acts is all about people starting over, and everybody has a story. And everybody's story hits a bump. Then what happens after the bump? My bump, 14 years in prison, but 6 years in, I decided I want to be something different. Everybody has a story. So this podcast and this information isn't just for people locked in prison cells. This is for people locked in the prisons of their own lives. I know too many people who are entrepreneurs who are locked into a life that they can't manage. I know too many people in relationships. They're locked into things that are detrimental and toxic for them. We want to help everybody get free. Because when you've been at the bottom, I've been locked in basements, chained to floors, federal government, I've been there. And when you're at the bottom, you want everybody to be free. And that's where I'm coming from. I want nobody. I literally just added a chapter to my book. I said I want to abolish slavery in every form of fashion on the planet. And we want everybody to be free spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. And that's what Second Acts is about. People getting to a place of freedom. So this information you're going to share for our listeners is to help them see that they got a second act to their life coming. That wherever they are now, it's not the end of it. It's just before the bump. I need you to tell me a little bit about how you got here and about yourself so people know.
Absolutely. First, Andre, thank you for inviting me. That means a lot. I got a chance to hear about what your movement, I call it that. I don't look at it as something that's a hobby for you. I can feel your passion through your writing, some of your work. And I looked up a few people that might know you, right? And they talked highly of you as well. And that's important because your work got here before your word did.
Gotcha.
So with all that said, though, my great friend David Sands reached out to me and said, would you like to speak to some individuals that had some challenges in life? And I said, well, man, you're talking to me. I've had a lot of challenges, right? But for me, it's all about service. How do you give back to the community? If there's something that you've been able to accomplish, can you share that information? Because I believe information is actually the key to helping everyone actually realize their own goals and dreams. The more information you have, repetition of information helps actually create a new norm in life. So that was real big for me.
Tell me your journey.
My journey, again, I grew up in some pretty rough neighborhoods. My mother is actually African-American. My dad is Irish.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold up. You got an Irish dad?
I got an Irish dad, yeah. I never met him.
Okay. You got an Irish absent dad.
Absolutely.
And then you got a black mom.
Absolutely.
And you grew up in Baltimore.
Projects.
East or west?
West Side.
West side of Baltimore.
Emerson
The
Avenue.
Wire is in the building.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I had a lot of great friends of our extras in the Wire.
Their stories.
Their story. No, there's stories on them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So west side of Baltimore,
Yes.
half white kid.
Yes.
Because that's what we're gonna call you in the hood. We ain't gonna call you black. We're gonna call
No,
you the
they're
half
not.
white kid.
I've got caught a lot of things that have been called half black. No.
Yeah, you never
No.
call, white folks will call you black.
Right.
Black folks will call you white.
Actually, white folks stopped calling me.
They just deleted your number, they blocked you.
Well, the reality is they knew I wasn't fully white in our neighborhood. And the division was so strong that my grandmother always said, boy, you white till you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And so that was my reality at that time, which goes back to what I was talking earlier about speaking. It's how do we get to a place where we have a universal language? How do we get to a place where when we say something, anyone wants to listen? And I think that's what it comes down to. I give you examples. As I progressed through middle school, again, I went to an integrated school at that point. But I remember in elementary, there were four.
So what you call integrated school, we just call a black school.
Well, no, when I first started going, it was integrated because we were the second class where it began to be integrated mixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
You went to a white school then. They let black kids into because you on
There
both
you
sides
go.
of the line. So your journey, you're in school. Go for it.
All right. So actually, in first grade, my best friends named Myron Cooper, right? And again, I got a black friend named Myron. That was always pretty interesting. So I remember after school one day, we were walking home. We were going to go play some games with one of our houses. I forget. And he was being chased home. And I didn't realize that the demographic chasing him was not black. And that was my first awakening that we can be divided without even knowing someone. And my bigger point to that is, how do we get to a place where you start judging people by the content of their character, by their body of their work, as opposed to simply by what you see externally? And that's a common,
How did we
factor.
get to there?
Yeah,
Called slavery.
it's called slavery. Absolutely.
Period. I mean, I can tell you exactly how we got there.
Absolutely.
They had white indentured servants / fake slaves,
Right.
And they would just walk off the plantation or walk off the little site, and you couldn't find them.
Absolutely. Right.
Black folks, you couldn't just walk off.
You couldn't just walk
You know what I'm
off.
saying? And there was a whole nother demographic to treating your own versus treating another
Right.
set of people. You can dehumanize somebody who doesn't look like you. So the way you got to that was when the boats pulled up.
Absolutely. So one of my this is funny. Here's my entrepreneurial. This is what all kicked in for me. I remember I'm dating myself now. I remember when Canvas Nikes first came out.
I got you.
Okay, that's we're going back that far, early 80s. And I wanted to get, I was saving up for, I was going to the store, grocery store, carrying bags, right? They give me 25 cents, 50
remember
cents.
the days.
Remember those days, right? So I would do that, and I remember Canvas Nikes, I had it down to a science, $37.18. That's what it cost for the shoes, to get some Burger King, and to catch the bus back and forth.
Got you.
So I'm working 3-4 weekends. I'm right there. My mother says, "Let me hold your money. I don't want you to lose it." You know the story's going, right?
Ooh.
Mom's takes the money.
You got stuck up by moms was a stick-up kid?
Mom's got me. She's stick up kid,
Moms
right?
I respect moms.
But
Shout out to moms.
She goes to Sears because she has a Sears card. She puts the money in her pocket, but uses the Sears card and buys me a pair of shoes with a check mark, not a swoosh.
That's bad. That's bad. You got the phony pro kids. That's what they were.
They wasn't even called pro. They was called port siders. I'll never forget it. That. And the sole was so thick. I tried to.
Scarred you. This is. I got a saying. Unresolved trauma is looking for activation. What's your sneaker collection look like at home now?
I have about 150 pair.
Unresolved trauma is looking for activation.
All day long, yeah.
You will never be stuck with pro siders again or
Never.
doc siders again.
Never.
You only wear the 150 pairs.
No.
They just give you comfort.
They give me comfort.
Better that than alcohol.
Absolutely. So all that said and done, we got a chance after I went up to the school after I took my 9th grade English class after 12th grade to get my physical diploma. And they asked me, the counselor asked me, he said, what college are you going to? And I said, I'd never applied to a college. Again, we didn't have the best program, if you will, for, onboarding in schools, right? So she said, well, if I can get you an SAT, she said, what's your SAT score? I said, what's SAT?
Oh, you didn't know.
I didn't know.
No. You didn't know you was on a school to prison pipeline bus.
That's it, I didn't know.
They didn't tell you.
Didn't tell me.
See, when you went from that other school to the black school,
Right.
you got on the other bus.
Other bus.
The bus that goes from 3rd grade straight to the penitentiary.
Absolutely.
Where you don't do SATs,
No.
you don't do GPAs, you don't do college apps.
No,
We just
None of
bus
that.
you up to the penitentiary.
absolutely.
But you realize you was on that bus now.
I realized I learned more in 8th grade than I did my entire 3 years at new school.
Got you. So, okay. You do the SATs.
I did fairly well, and I got a full ride to for academics. How about that?
Picture that.
To my
God
lo-
is good.
God is good, right? So, but here's the thing: I didn't realize the value in what I was receiving because to me it was free. Find somebody that has the story that you want to create, and ask them if they can talk to you, if you can work for them for free. I'll give you a great story. Up in the shopping center near where I lived, there was a guy. His father owned 5 barbershops, and back then the music store, right? And what I used to do, because he had a nice car, he had a Porsche and he had a Mercedes 190E back in the day, right? And I would go up there and I asked him if I could actually clean their floors every night. And he said, well, we're not hiring. I said, no, I just want to clean your floors. I wanted to be in the environment where success was. And because I was there, he started taking me home. I started seeing how the business ran. I wanted to be in an environment where people had my desired results actually resided. So everybody knows a little viral video now, where the money resides, right? There's a little meme going on right now, right? It's very viral. But my point is, I had to be in the environment at least to have a fighting chance. And that's why I appreciate so much what you're doing right now. You're giving people the information of a fighting chance. You could be my mentor if I would desire, because I could read your books, I could hear your audios, I could watch you on YouTube, I could listen to the information because your story is so much like mine.
So I got to ask.
Yeah.
Before we get to the next part, what was your lowest point in your transition or your Act 1?
My Act 1?
What was your lowest point in Act 1?
When I was standing on the 16th floor looking down about to jump.
Why would you want to jump off the 16th floor of a building?
Because I thought my marriage failed. I thought my kids wouldn't love me anymore. I lost a multiple six-figure year job, and I thought that there was no upside.
Where was the self-talk? Where was the audiobook? Where was the just live bigger?
Absolutely.
So where was that when you're looking off a cliff like, I'm about to jump, everything's out of control. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in the space of considering jumping off a building,
Absolutely.
and you know the self-talk and the repetition and how did that coincide? Help me.
I'm glad you said it. I didn't know those things then. I was what we call the unconscious competent. I was really good at what I did, but didn't know why I did it. Didn't understand how I did it. I didn't understand how to. I had a professor at Morgan State University, business professor, and they never owned a business. To me, that was theory. I worked out of theory. I didn't work out of application. It was at that moment when I placed a phone call to a cousin who was a pastor, and he talked me down. I really didn't want to, but I would have, right? But I had to hear a voice that was bigger than mine. I had to hear a voice that would help me understand that I was needed, I was valuable. A lot of people listen to this call right now, they just don't believe they're valuable. And I'm telling you right now, you're valuable.
So you were on the building looking out like it don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
Didn't matter.
And what I've achieved, I made it through the hood. I made it to college. I had some kids. I'm a dad. But you couldn't see any value in you in that moment.
I couldn't see the bigger picture because I was stuck in the frame. I was a small piece inside of something where other people could look in and they would tell you how wonderful you are, how valuable they saw it, but I couldn't see it because I was stuck in the moment.
You know what I tell people? You can't read the label if you're inside the jar.
That's it.
So you're in the jar, you're thinking about jumping. Gladfully, you reached out to somebody.
Right.
So I want to not skip over that part. If you are in a moment of depression, or a moment of loss, or a moment of confusion, the key thing you did, you reached out to somebody.
I reached out to somebody.
Break the decision when you're thinking about jumping. I want to go deep into that.
Right.
What was the thought process to dialing the number?
The thought process was I wanted someone to know my pain
Why that person?
because I knew that his voice was pure enough to convey it.
You go into your second act.
Yes.
What? So now you're starting over.
All over.
How old are you?
I'm 52 now.
No. When you were starting over.
38.
So you got to start over at 38.
Yes.
That sounds hard.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go back to 15 when I got my front tooth knocked out playing baseball. And my mother wouldn't take me to get to the dentist to get it done. So I was 27 before I had a front tooth. And I'm in corporate America at a call center, and I can't advance, and I understand why.
You got a bad grill.
At a bad grill.
I'm saying.
But the reality was that was indicative of everything I'd been through in my life at that point.
So you're starting over at 38.
Starting over 38.
With a new tooth.
With a new tooth.
What does that look like?
What it looked like for me was this. I had to make a conscious decision that what other people thought of me was none of my business. I had to make a conscious decision that if I put my head down, if I dug deep, I could do anything I wanted to in life. Because people kept telling me that. I had to choose to believe it. And it was at that point right there that I don't have a degree. Remember, I kept dropping out of school, right? I don't have a degree, so I can't work for certain companies. But guess what I did? I started my own company. And I could go work for them as a contractor and make 3 times as much.
So a guy on the side of a ledge with one tooth,
right,
and a bad belief system decides he wants to start his own company.
Absolutely.
And you do it.
Absolutely. And it went from there. I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but the reality is this. It went from there to speaking in front of people on 5 continents, standing in front of an audience of 10, 20,000, all behind. One person with courage is a majority. If you can believe in yourself first, people say, well, man, you got too much confidence. Absolutely, man. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody will, man.
I actually tell people I'm the majority of one that rule over me.
That's it. Absolutely.
And I generally got my way.
And to you said something, you were talking to your son about the lies. Like the tongue in my mouth lines up with the tongue in my. If I tell you something, it's my word. It's gonna freaking happen, right? Even if I don't have the capability or the resources at that time, I'm gonna put myself in a position where I make it happen. I'm not gonna rely on someone else's no will never stop me from realizing my dreams.
Gotcha. So you started over.
Over.
And you hit your mark. You own a business now.
Multiple.
You own multiple businesses.
Yes.
And they're doing well.
Very well.
150 pair of sneakers well.
150 pair of sneakers well. Absolutely.
So what's your advice to the person who's in the process of starting over.
Yes.
They came off the ledge, and they got their tooth fixed, and they're about to start over. What do you say to them?
I say go out there, and most people say find your passion. I don't believe that. Find something that makes money, that will fund your passion, because you have to start somewhere. You got to get to a place that there's survival, there's significance, and there's success. Survival, you got to go out there and make enough money to feed yourself, feed your family. Then you go out there and you start learning and volunteering in environments where you want to go out there and participate in, right? Find a marketplace where people want to buy your products and services. I always say,
But okay, I'm starting over. I don't
Yeah.
have products and services yet.
Right.
I have just trying to build a belief system.
okay,
So, what was the hardest part of starting over?
believing in me. I have an audio that I've listened to over 1,000 times that has changed my life.
What is it?
It's by a gentleman named Bishop I.V. Hilliard. This is not religion. This is Prince. You take the meat off the bone on this, right? It's called Bishop I.V. Hilliard. You can get it on YouTube for free. I hope you don't mind me saying that.
Go
right?
for it.
You
YouTube
know,
University.
that's it,
we
right?
promote it.
So Bishop I.V. Here's a series called How to Eliminate Doubt and Unbelief. Changed my life.
I got a friend who says, I think Bruce Lee said it first. I don't fear the man who studied 1,000 kicks. I fear the man who studied one kick 1,000 times.
That's it. Yeah. And Bruce Lee also said he'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a garden in a war. I wanted to be a warrior in a garden. I wanted to make sure that I had the tools that I could fight. I had to be better than everybody else because I didn't have a degree. I wanted them to look at me and say, you know what, I need that dude on my team. That's the guy I wanted to be.
Gotcha. So we got people struggling. They behind the wall. They got their stuff together. They're starting over.
Yes.
I started over at 32.
Okay.
I walked out of prison at 32 starting over. And it's like, wow, I'm looking around. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm in a whole new space and world, and it's tough. So how do we get people who are starting over not to quit?
You know, it's one step at a time, man. I always say start with the end result in mind. Write down what you want it to look like and put pictures of it up everywhere. You know, every morning if I wanted to quit, you know what I saw? I saw my future. I don't have a vision board. I got a vision environment. When I wake up in the morning and I see pictures, I don't care where, if you're in a cell, you're at the house, I see my future every single day. I saw the cars I was going to have. I saw my happy family.
So now, how has being mixed race
Yes.
helped you? How has it hurt you?
I would say it's helped me because people at least give me an opportunity to speak. And I always say, don't give me a job, give me an interview. I'll take care of the difference, right? You get me to the table, I'll take care of the difference. How's it hurt me? I don't think it's hurt. I think it's made me stronger. I've been able to hear stories that most people wouldn't be able to hear because they don't know. And I've also been in environments where I can actually share stories other people have an opportunity to hear. So I think that I've been an amazing liaison, but it took me years to get to that point to realize I have a gift and not just a curse.
Got you. So we have a criminal justice system.
Yes.
2.2 million people, 25% of the world's population is locked up right here in America. What are your suggestions, not on the system, but on making the system better?
I think the system has to realize that we can change everything if we keep the family together. I think if the system would stop judging someone based on what the small things that they did, and truly get to the rehabilitation space, and I think that's the hook right there, man. I mean, how do you get somebody that's never had anything, the trauma you talked about, right? How do you get them from the trauma to the treatment? But it can't be something that's just enabling. It can't be a system that says, I want to put you in here just because we got the funds to do it.
No more stimulus checks?
No, them stimmies gone, doc. Those stimmies are gone. And that's a Band-Aid on a major wound, right? You got to get folks to a place where they're outside of the trauma. And again, I think it's going to be experiences. How do you get people not just, doing something, learning a skill inside, but when you get them outside, can we take folks somewhere and put them in environments where other people are winning and they can start participating in those
Back
stories?
to exposure again.
Exposure.
So question, have you had anybody in your lifetime deal with incarceration?
Absolutely. I've had almost everybody in my neighborhood.
You from West Baltimore, so that was
That's
like a
enough
simple
said.
question.
Yeah, enough
that was
said.
a bounce pass.
Bounce pass, yes. Layup.
So what did you notice in the people that went to jail from West Baltimore?
I noticed when they came home that everybody gave them a party for coming home. I know when I came home from the military, I was National Guard for a little bit. When I came home from the military, nobody said anything. I noticed that we celebrate in my mind, some of the wrong things, as opposed to celebrating some things where people out there winning and we pull them back a little bit. So I think sometimes that the value system has been installed in a very, very toxic manner.
You're not going for the prodigal son coming home? Everybody coming home from prison is a prodigal son, no?
No, I agree with that. I think it's awesome, but I think that we don't stop there.
No, I mean, the prodigal son is when he came back, the father threw a party for
They
him.
throw a party for him. They put the coat on him.
He ran off and spent all his money, messed everything up, threw the coat, gave him a party, slided the calf. So you're saying, I know that for a fact. People look forward to that come home party like they deserve it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Why?
Wrong mindset?
But why? I'm not saying it's the wrong mindset.
No,
I'm
happy to be
I'm
out.
questioning the validity of why.
What are we celebrating?
What are we celebrating? What are we celebrating?
You just got finished doing 10 years for robbing 2 banks, and we're celebrating as if it's an achievement.
As it's an achievement. Agreeable.
You've technically
I
sat
love
on
the
your
fact,
bunk for 10 years.
I'm thankful that you're home. I'll give you my personal story again. My brother was going away to South Korea. He went to the military, right? He could have went a different way. He was going to South Korea to the military. Another cousin was coming home, coming from sitting down for a while, right? And he spent 10 years. The same weekend around Christmas, they're going to do it. They pushed out his release date, so they canceled the party. My brother still had to go to South Korea. They didn't have the party anymore. It was going to be a combined party. That makes sense?
Right.
So that my mind at that point was, why are we celebrating one but not the other? We have to start celebrating achievements of when we're winning, not just when we come home.
Fair enough. So I see that. I've been to parties and people like, yo, Dre, you write me a check? I'm like, I look like Joe Biden?
Right.
I'm not writing checks. I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not writing checks. People come to me, I'm like, dude, I'm not the government.
Right.
I don't do stimulus checks.
Right.
It's like, if you want something, work for it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have no ability or want to just write checks to a mass group of people. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it's like enabling. In my opinion, is somewhat people are in need always, but does this fix your need?
That's the challenge. I'm real big on if we can provide. I say skills pay the bills.
So you have a business now,
Yes.
Forex. Now, my son, I wish I could play the video. I made him do Forex years ago, and he did some trades. He made $100 his first time. Then he was 13. He went off, started skateboarding. So I literally went to other countries, third world countries, and I said, I should set up Forex training camps. I should tell the kids in these little poor countries, you have cell phones, you have access to the internet, we can get you this trading platform, you can do the dummy accounts, the fake accounts to practice, and if y'all get to a certain point, I'll give you the money to start trading, and I believe Forex trading can actually eliminate world poverty.
All day long. It's the largest industry in the world. I mean, one mentor once taught me, said, if you want to earn money, you must go where money is being spent. I can't come here today and say, you guys, you can get rich, you can get proficient, you can get profitable selling 8-track tapes. Wrong season. You must at least be in the arena where money is being exchanged, right? $6 trillion a day is being exchanged every single day.
How can people in prison or imprisoned by bad jobs or bad relationships learn Forex, and what can it really do? Now, I mean, at the hey, go read this book.
Right.
What is Forex going to do versus something else?
Forex makes the platform even. It doesn't care, Yale or jail. It doesn't care your background, doesn't care your foreground, doesn't care what your mindset is. It only cares about, can you learn how to execute a trade? And if you understand currency and pairs and money and how it works, that's the thing. Don't get in it to make money. Get in it to learn the skill set. When you learn the skill set, money is a byproduct. Just a very quick background. It's about 10, 15 years ago, you had to be an institutional investor. You had to be a government agency, a major bank, somebody with, a minimum $300,000 liquid to even be in the game. Technology, smartphones changed that. Then you had people that would charge $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 for courses. We want to get to a space where anyone that could afford a cable bill could afford to learn the game. So we put together a team of about 15 to 20 of the top traders in the world. And we put together a membership program for about $150 a month. Anybody can learn the skill set, right? They can pay for it. There's no contracts. They can come in there. They can learn the psychology of trading. They can understand risk management, how not to gamble, but how to learn to be a trader. They can understand how to leverage pairs. The big thing now is cryptocurrency. We have intro to cryptocurrency programs. We have all these different platforms where someone can come into the game, learn a skill set, and watch this, maybe somebody like me and you that's super busy, right? They don't want to learn the game, but we have traders that actually execute trade ideas. They can copy. If you can send a text message, you can participate in Forex today.
So for me, super skeptical on everything.
Absolutely.
I know Forex works.
Yeah.
When you say 150 a month,
Yeah.
that sounds like MLM, which sounds like I'm paying somebody. Am I in a training or am I in an MLM?
No, we have a Forex education platform.
So it's just I don't have to sign nobody else up.
You don't have to do that at all. Now, in any company, you have affiliate options, but no, our whole thing, I put it like this. We have 38,000 active customers in 132 countries right now, right?